There are so many things that come at a cost in order for you to live this new life that you want to live, in order for you to step into this new version of yourself. And on this channel, I've talked quite a bit about grieving, and not grieving in the sense of death, but grieving in the sense of grieving a process, or grieving what used to be and what no longer is. And I was talking to God today, and I was thinking about some of the relationships in my life. As I'm permanently moving from one city to the next, and I'm so far away from home, I know that I cannot take these relationships with me. There were a lot of bad relationships in my life, but there were a few very influential ones that I'm just really struggling to let go of. And so as I'm spending my last couple of weeks in the city, I've been trying to connect with people. I've been trying to meet up with people and just say my final goodbyes, or just tell people how grateful I am for their season in my life. And I always wish that certain stuff, like certain relationships and certain opportunities, I wish they were like for a lifetime. But a lot of the times, God will not put those things or let those things become a lifetime situation. A lot of our relationships, a lot of our opportunities, a lot of the versions of ourselves have to be seasonal in order for God to do what He needs to do throughout our lives. And I was just thinking about this one specific relationship I had, where my teacher from elementary school, they guided me so much during the hardest time of my life. And when I think back to the way my teacher treated me, I have never been considered this much in my life. I've never been valued this much. I've never had anybody pour into me and advocate for me as much as this teacher did. Like, when I look back at it, this teacher really went out of their way to make sure that I was seen and that I was heard. And they were the first example of an adult that actually cared, that I could see. And so when I went into high school, I still kept in contact with this teacher. I have a younger sibling, so she was still in the elementary school, so it was easy for me to keep in contact with this teacher. But now that I'm moving, my sister is graduating from elementary school to high school, so she's no longer going to have any contacts with this teacher. And I'm moving from my hometown to my university town, so I'm no longer going to have access to having my sister as a mediator to talk to this teacher. And so I know that my season of keeping in contact with him and having this connection is coming to an end. And it's so hard to grasp, just because there's so much emotional weight and there's so much emotions attached to my hometown, my old school, my old relationships and connections. And a lot of that was negative. And part of this process has been really easy for me, letting go of the negative stuff and just being so empowered to go off and start new, positive, enlightening relationships. But then it's just that 5% of the experiences that I have here that really shaped me to be who I am today and was really positive and influential in my life. But God is calling me to also bring those relationships to an end. And in moments like this, I just question why. Like, why can't I hold on for a little bit longer? Why can't I still keep this connection and just whenever I get back in the city, talk to them? But we can't bring everybody to the top with us. We can't bring everybody throughout every single season of our lives. And I think something that's really hard for me to learn is that things are seasonal, people are seasonal, times are seasonal. Like, there's some things that I wish could last forever, but almost everything in our life is temporary. Life itself is temporary, and we have to move on, even from good things that were good for us once, that we need to move on to the next. And we cannot be gifted or blessed with new things, new opportunities, new relationships if we're not letting go of the old ones, even if those old ones were positive. And so I'm meeting up with this teacher tomorrow, just to say my final goodbyes. And I really wanted to meet up with them in person to express my gratitude, because I don't think this teacher understands how much of an impact they had on my life. Like, they were always looking out for me. And when I was younger, I used to think that, they were always on my case, or they were just too obsessed with me, or they were too worried about what I had going on. But it was really just a mentor, just somebody who genuinely cared. And we don't see stuff like that anymore in the education field, but this teacher really shaped my life. Like, when I had no other adult to really show me what life was about or what character was, he taught me character and he taught me integrity. He was very, very strict on learning those things. And so when someone is so influential in your life like that, you feel like you're leaving them behind. It feels like you're just leaving them behind and you're carrying on with your life, and it feels so transactional. But I know that I did things for this teacher, and I know that I in turn was a good student to this teacher, but I just feel like I'm missing something, or like I should wait to see if I can carry these relationships in with me. But the truth of the matter is, I also recognize that this is a season to let go. It's not a season to burn bridges, but it's a season to tie the knot and bring certain things to an end. And so I just wanted to make this audio to say, grieving is really hard, especially when you're moving from the older version of yourself to the newer version of yourself. But the new version of yourself is going to cost you the old one, and you cannot simultaneously move up to a new area, new season of your life with the old and new version of yourself. They do not work. You have to shed one to put the other on, and the cost of your new life is your old one, and that includes your old relationships, your old opportunities, what you used to know. And as I've been on this journey of unlearning things, I've also been having to break up relationships or bring to a close certain partnerships that I had with people, which in one season might have benefited me a lot, but in the next season just doesn't have any real benefit to me. And when I was still in high school and when I was still in elementary school, it was very easy to stay connected to this teacher because we were still in the same realm. But now that I'm in university and I'm 4 hours out of my hometown, there's nothing that's still keeping us connected. My sister is no longer in the school. There's just nothing there, and I've been trying to grapple onto little things that might still mend that relationship. But the truth is, you have to be willing to lay certain things down to get the life that you want. If you want a life of wealth where you don't have to wake up every day stressing about finances, then you have to be willing to lay down bad financial habits. You have to be willing to lay down overspending, overconsumption, treating yourself all the time. You have to be able to lay certain things down. If you want to be in more intentional relationships where you set boundaries and where people are genuinely valuing you, then you have to let go of those manipulative relationships. You have to let go of those relationships where you're being manipulated into giving and someone's just constantly taking from you. So there's a price that comes with the life that you want to live, and it's very unfortunate when someone has actually been positive or when something's actually had a positive impact, and it's very hard to let go of everything you've always known. It's actually one of the bravest things you can do, is to dare to let go of everything you've always known and seek something new and explore something new. But if we stay stuck and if we stay in the same position that we've been in all our lives, nothing is going to change because nothing changes. And it's so hard to pick up and move, and we all say we want change, and the minute change comes, there's this huge resistance towards it. And I believe that resistance is a witness and a clear sign that we are doing exactly what it is we're supposed to be doing. And all that resistance is telling us is that we've never been here before. I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit anxious because I don't know what to expect. But it's a beautiful place to be in when you don't know what to expect. If I always know that I'm going to expect this paycheck that barely gets me by, if I always know that I'm going to expect this friend who's always flaking on me, if I always know that I'm going to expect another failed interview, then I know what to expect, but it's just constant disappointment and destruction. But if I move to a new place and apply for a job that I'm underqualified for, or if I dare to be friends with somebody and go and talk to somebody and I know nothing about them, I don't know what to expect. But the beauty of that is that there's endless possibilities. And when you don't know what to expect, you open room for God to show you a bunch of pleasant surprises. You open room for Him to blow your mind. But He needs your yes. And sometimes your yes isn't even just a verbal yes. Sometimes your yes is letting go of the relationship He told you to let go of. Sometimes your yes is quitting the job and trusting Him to help you build your business. Sometimes the yes is really picking up the little stuff that you do have and moving across the country, moving across the city, doing what you need to do in order to be in His presence, doing what you need to do in order to function properly in His will. He can do a lot with the little that we do have in our lives, but He can't do much without our yes, because God is a gentle God. God is a fair God, so He will never just force us into something. He gives us free will in order for us to say, yes, I want to partner with you, and no, I don't want to partner with you. And every time we say say no, nothing changes because nothing changes. But every time that we say yes, we allow him to open up endless possibilities in our lives. And I'm telling you, the things he does is so beautiful. And you'd be very, very surprised how God circles things around. He's very intentional. He's very sweet. He's very gentle. He's a gentleman. So if he sees that this particular relationship in your life really helped you, and you have for example, my relationship with this teacher, I'm just so upset to see it go just because it helped me in such dire needs of my life. Who knows? As he evolves me and as he puts me in different rooms and spaces, it's a small world. He might connect me right back with that teacher at a different time in my life. He might use that connection to connect me to other people. You never know what God's going to do. So don't ever count him out. Don't ever count yourself out. And don't ever think that he can't do a lot with the little that you've been given in your life. So this is your sign to let go and go through that grieving process, as hard as it is, but know that God has greater in store for you. You just have to say yes and be willing to move.